Alrighty, folks, how are you today? My name is Andrew Taranta, and I am back at you with another incredible day with TRXC. Absolutely fantastic day. Oh, if you're a longtime subscriber, and really that just kind of refers to the last week or so, you are absolutely thrilled right now because if you got in at least at 65 cents, you've made more than 100% profit. And if you got in earlier, you definitely did really well as well. One thing I do want to bring up is that the whole industry is doing fantastic. We have a whole bunch of companies in this industry that are doing very, very well. Zomedica, I've heard a lot about doing very well. Actually, someone kind of mentioned them. I kind of wish I had bought them the second they said something in the comments. But, at the end of the day, I'm not too upset being in TRXC and seeing how well they've been doing. So it's been a little bit of a back and forth over the last little bit. We can kind of look at the 1 day chart, or I guess the 5 day chart, which might be a little bit better. Kind of still difficult to see, but a little bit better actually. So what we can see here is we can see a little bit of a crazy jump up in the morning all the way to $2, which was pretty crazy. And then it just kind of started going down a little bit and then had another spike back up and been sort of on like a downward trend since the $2. But at the same point in time, it's still up nearly 45% from its original ticker. So really the only reason this looks like a downward trend is because I think it just had a little bit too much of an explosion in the first few seconds of today, which was pretty crazy. I knew things were going to go very well. I had a very good feeling that pre-market was going to be very intense, but I could not have suspected that. Now looking at the 1 month chart, we're still looking really, really good. We're looking, more than good on the 1 month. Feeling very strong about this. It's definitely very clear that there's an upward trend going on right now in just kind of all things healthcare. So I'm very happy to see this. We look at the 3 month just to kind of get some more comparison to where we were 3 months ago at about 40 cents to where we are now at 1.6. And that's why if we do see any bad after hours movement, or if we do see a consolidation or a come down, let's not remember how far we've come over just the last 3 months. And remember that a stock doesn't have to grow overnight or in the next 20 minutes or stuff like that. I mean, yes, I was able to swing trade this stock a little bit because it does act somewhat predictably on the daily chart. It kind of goes up and down. So once it got around 1.9 today, I kind of pulled out, bought back in, got a bunch more shares. So, I was able to kind of do a little bit of swing trading, but, still obviously it's not exactly where I want it to be or not at my PR yet. So I definitely want to, just keep playing this stock and keep seeing what I could do. But if you don't play the stock and you just choose to sit on it, that actually works just as well. That'll be perfectly fine. And back to the 1 year chart, this is actually where I'm really interested, is I'm seeing, once again, us back on our 52. So we're back to where I think the stock should be. And I think that we might see, some very, very good things happening because we could see 1 year ago where it was worth and now where it's worth. And we see this gap here, right? We see this gap here in the middle. Use this to kind of show you guys what I'm referring to. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but we see this big gap here, and I want to bring some attention to that because that gap, by the way, that is what the whole 2020 was for this company. Obviously, they had the coronavirus situation that blooped it. That happened to a lot of companies, and it really hadn't bounced back after the coronavirus situation. It gave an attempt back in June, but now it's really on its way back up, and it could go even further given the whole precipice of Zomedica and various other healthcare industries. So definitely very interested on this play, and I'm very excited for the future. And just so you guys can see, obviously on the 5 year, hardly making a dent. You can see now there's a little bit of action. You can see the come up. But what we really want to remember is that that gap, and then on top of that, the fact that we have so much further to go. So try not to give too much attention, like I said, to the whole after hour situation or really the day to day. I mean, I get it. We all want to swing trade, even if we love the stock, and I did it myself. So I understand if you're being kind of like, oh, maybe sell now, wait for it to see how low it goes. And then once it starts picking up some steam, then I'll buy in again and kind of just play that game a little bit. You could do that. Definitely do that if you can. But at the same point in time, I think if you just kind of hold tight, you're going to see some really great returns over the next few months at least. That's why I think it's going up so much, because people know they got something good here, and they don't want to let it go. So once the non-committed buyers kind of pull out, we had too much volume today, in my opinion. It went up to about 200 volume, not something really where we want to be. So a little upsetting. But we can also take a page out of Gevo for a second. I want to talk about Gevo for 2 seconds. And this was a company that in the last 3 months has kind of gone up pretty substantially. And I'm seeing a little bit of a similar pattern here. If you see this right here, where they have their earnings in November, there was a shoot up to about $2. And then there was like a little bit of a consolidation process going on here. And I'm kind of seeing, there's a possibility that we could be looking at, don't be surprised if we see like a month-long consolidation effort from this company. Like, let's not be surprised if we see that. We want to be aware that those things do exist. So it was a huge gain today, another huge gain. But let's also look at Zomedica since we're here. There we go. So Medica doing really well on the 3 month as well. We can kind of see just an explosion here. Same thing with Jaguar Health. We see these explosions all over the place, and it's basically really giving a lot of cred to the whole healthcare industry right now. So we're very excited to see these things happening. And with TRXC, we still see that same reaction. So, if you're up here, understand, you can see how like all the charts kind of look similar. Are we noticing that pattern that I kind of just laid out to you? So definitely get ready for some very incredible things to happen in the future. I think this is the start of something really incredible, but definitely always have patience. And what I would recommend is if you want to swing trade it, sure. But I would recommend maybe instead looking into just trying to find some cash and buying those dips. I think that's going to be really helpful for when this thing does eventually go further. Like I said, my price target for this is well into $4 to $5. It might even be higher at this rate. Evaluating the worth is going to be a little difficult pre-earnings. So I want to see what earnings do. We know that there's going to be a good earnings coming up. So I want to see what happens and what occurs. So really what we're looking to do is we're looking to load up the tank for earnings. So, another dip would be fantastic, because then I could really have a great chance to load up, because we know that they're going to beat earnings, and we know that there's going to be, there might be some information released that is extremely, beneficial. But one thing I also do before I let you guys go, one thing I'd always like to look at is the order flow. And obviously today there was a lot of large outscale orders, but you have to also remember that there was a lot of large inflow as well. And you also have to remember that, yes, there was, a decent amount, but at the same point in time, you have to remember that this is normal, especially when a stock goes so far up. So I think what you really want to take a look at is just the fact that there was somewhat of a balance, and yes, the large did outweigh the inflows large. So ultimately, that might be a sign that hey, we might see a little bit of a consolidation effort coming soon, but we really can't call it, and ultimately it's not really that big of a deal. If you got in right around here at this 60 mark, wherever the case may be, is you're fine. You're not worried about anything like that. All you're thinking about is listen, I got all this profit. What should I do with it? So definitely, if you want, I would recommend just kind of holding right now. And if you want to sell, I've said it every time it's shot up, I'd say sell. You know, I mean, this is another day where you probably made close to 150%. So if you have a better idea and you think that you can make money faster somewhere else, whether that be like in an option call, or whether that be in whatever industry you think it is, you know, do what you have to do. But also, you know, just kind of take a look at the daily charts and take a look at what you think the trends are. And on top of that, always check out the rest of my videos. They all kind of correspond with TRXC. So I have a lot of information out there for you guys. And please use it, because the preliminary yearly update, I think that's a very great tool, very good tool. And what I also like is I like the in-depth stock analysis video as well, stock analysis, the stock analysis, because that one I really go into what the stock is and what exactly it does. And I've had moments where people have, like I said already, had kind of brought up, you know, you didn't really introduce what the company is. Well, I made videos about it, but just so you guys know, it is a medical device company. It's a medical surgical robotics, to be specific. So definitely get excited, because this is a future company, something that's going to take on the future, and that's what we're looking to invest in. So today was a big day, but expect big things tomorrow, or not tomorrow maybe. I'm not gonna say that, but just, you know, stay on course. And like I said, check out the rest of my videos, and there's a ton of information out there for you, if not from me, from somebody else. But I want to thank again the subscribers and all the people who kind of commented, and I will get the Discord going, and I will get the I'll get the Discord going. I might set up a Patreon. I'm not